All right, there we go. Hello everyone, how's it going? Team here, and this is BxJS dev stream. And today we are continuing with our task manager. Last time we have created the task list, and today we're going to be doing the task view, I guess. Before I get started, first of all, there's a pull request that I haven't seen before, probably because I'm not watching the repo for whatever reason. Let me have a quick look here. There was one thing that was brought up by people on Discord, or actually a couple of things. That is fair enough. That is, yeah, sure, we can merge that. Why not? Okay, let me just update my repo quickly. So there was two things brought up by people on Discord. Thing number one, it was absolutely my own fault for essentially breaking the next-auth when we did it with the client-side hook. So the reason it wasn't working is, I believe it was use, what was it? Use session, I think? Right, it was use session. So the reason it wasn't working across pages is that because when you want to use it across pages, you need a provider specifically from the session client that basically shares the session across pages. If I were to add this, we could actually use it client side, but I think the server side is a better solution anyway. And the second thing is the redirects. So I believe we did a redirect manually somewhere. I'm trying to remember where exactly. So this was so this was one place where we redirected stuff, and there was a couple of others. Where did we do it? Was it in a project or something? Yeah, there we go. There's so essentially what we could do actually is use Next.js new redirect clause that they have in the get server props, I believe, or something. And then you can basically just return the redirect parameters, and the Next.js will handle the redirects for you. I honestly don't remember where exactly was it, but I do remember, I believe it was Amy's in our Discord chat who was pointing this stuff out. Let me try to find that now. Maybe I should just go look at the Discord. But I think there's basically a way to return stuff from server that should do exactly that. That seems to be like the router thing. Okay, where was the trailing/response helper? Response helpers, maybe here? No, this is the API. It's got to be described somewhere, right? Data fetching. There we go. Get static props. Okay, so there's the get static props. Redirect. There should be, I guess it's somewhere here. So this is in static props. Is that the same for the... Is that the same for the server props as well? Let me see. Get static props. Static generation. Use files. Okay, so this is the same redirect built-in, blah, blah, blah. Okay, optional redirect. Okay, so this is... okay, so you can... all right. So we just need to return redirect and then basically say that the destination is this. Okay, so this is what we want to do in our backend. Let me have a look at the chat. Hey, Chris, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's going good. I'm just, I have a weird schedule today because of a bunch of the work calls we have arranged, essentially. So they overlap with my normal streaming schedule. And instead of, because I can't really skip those calls or rearrange them, I am doing streams at a different time. Anyway, we are coming to this. So if there is no session user is what we want to do. That is actually going to be a lot nicer because effectively this is gonna redirect. So we no longer need any of that, actually. That is super cool. Right, and do we need a session? Yes, we do need a session. Okay, you know what? We don't actually need it here. No, we do need a session because we use the email here, which is, I don't know if we will use it. But we do assume the session exists, otherwise this page will not be rendered at all. So I guess I can just kill all of that. That is a very nice space saving here. There we go. That's pretty nice. Okay, so there is we were using use router, right? So let us clear this up a bit and do the redirect server side over here as well, because this does clean up the thing quite a bit. Okay, so if there, we actually should just be doing this right after the session, right? Because if there's no session, we cannot actually get user project. So we can just, that simplifies things quite a lot. If there's no session, redirects to login. Right, cool, that is actually extremely convenient. Okay, let me just copy all of that. I guess I can just do this, right? Okay, same goes here. So if there's no session, we're just gonna redirect immediately. And same goes here, right? We should test this at one point, but for now it's okay. Right, so again, we don't need any of that anymore. We assume that session basically exists, so we don't need that. We do not need that. I like the coding sessions where you can basically remove half of the source code you had. That's always a very nice thing to do because you no longer have to maintain that code, right? Always a good thing. All right, okay, cool. I think that's actually it. We didn't use router anywhere else. Cool. You can actually commit that. Git add git commit. Okay, so use server side redirects for absent sessions, I guess. That's a terrible phrasing. Non-existent sessions. Distant sessions. There we go. Okay, cool. So that will make it a bit nicer for us. Now we will work on this bit exclusively, which is essentially the rendering of the current task, right? I guess I probably should start npm run dev our server. I believe I should be running the Docker. Wait a second, let me open a second tab. Come on. Make it a bit bigger. Is my Mongo running? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So, localhost 3000. Are we good? Come on now. Filed successfully. Okay. Yep, that looks good. There's our task and there's our... Okay, cool. So, everything works as expected. You know what, let's try the redirects, right? So I can just go into the application, I can just clear all the site data, so we no longer should have any local storage or cookies. That is correct. So if I refresh it now, theoretically we should be kicked into no. Okay, right, that's, yeah, okay. Fair enough. I believe I should be able to use the optional chaining here, right? I think the Next.js transpiles it anyway, so let me just do that. We had it in 3 places, right? And we need to fix all 3 of those. So that should be question mark, that should be question mark, and that should be question mark. I believe that should make it work. There we go. Okay, so if we go to previous page, that is a bit too much. Okay, so it basically just kicks us to login, which is exactly what we would expect, right? I think password was 123. What? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yes, is that a bug or just something went... Okay, anyway, you know what? For now, it's fine. It works. We got the stuff running. Okay, I need to amend this. Right. Go to task manager, git amend this to the previous commit because that's a bug that should be fixed in the first place. Anyway, coming to our task, right? So what we want to do now is, so we got our task, we got our basic description, and we got a full text. I believe this was our schema last time. Let me just double check the task. So yeah, so we got the description, we got the text, which is the body of it, and then user project and icon, right? So we need 3 fields, essentially. The basic fields for name and description, or I guess description actually shouldn't be basic. It should be, no, it is basic, right? So description is what we're going to have over here on the left, which means that this is 3 fields plus icon. So I guess let's start with icon and name, right? So I guess let's go with creating a task component, because why not? Task, there we go. We got, this is task render, and I guess let's call it full, maybe, or something like that, right? Because we need to have this full task view, right? Let's call it task view. I guess that's a better naming, right? task view. So project task, I mean, we know it will be current. We don't need a link here. Right, so we're gonna have this icon. We're gonna have the description that is gonna look a bit differently. I'm just gonna wrap it in div for now. So, okay, cool. Class name, let's go with flex for now. Right. Okay, so here what we need to do is, instead of rendering JSON as we do right now, we actually want to render the task view itself, right? And then, so project is gonna be current project, right? I don't know if we need to reference it, but let's just, and task is gonna be current task. Thank you very much. Okay. So we got that. I mean, I guess I'll just leave the JSON for now. All right, so there we go. There's our stuff. Obviously, it doesn't have any data here, so that's perfectly fine. Let me have a look at the console. So how exactly does that? Oh, you know what we also need to do? I completely forgot about that. There is the Tailwind CSS 2.0 is out right now, right? And they have some very nice color schemes in new one. So we probably should migrate to it at one point and update our coloring to use the new color schemes because they look really, really good. Anyway, coming to this. So, okay, so where is our flex? This is our flex, which looks perfectly fine, actually. Okay, cool. So we got what? We need an icon selector, and then default icon as well, probably, right? So, or, okay, so default icon, let me think. I guess we need some icon, maybe computer or something. Let's see. So how would that look? Yes, that looks good, or at least decent. Okay. I'm wondering if we want the edit mode. I guess we do want the edit mode to be enabled all the time, right? So because you would want a tool icon. Tool icon is a good suggestion. Tool. It's like knife. Yes, that sounds perfect. Okay, or maybe yeah, something like that, I guess. That looks that works fine, right? Yeah, there we go. Hey Carlos, welcome to the stream. All right, so I guess so. This is gonna be some sort of a popover thing. That's basically when you click, there's gonna be a drop down or whatever. Is it a drop down? Maybe we just limit it to like one symbol thing when you can like put in an emoji or a letter if you want to, or whatever the hell you want, basically. Maybe ideally it should also be an image, but anyway, for now that's fine. Yeah, let's just do it an input, right? So okay, so we're gonna input type text placeholder icon, and then value is gonna be that, right? So it's gonna have this. And I guess it's actually a bad idea to do the value. So maybe let's do the placeholder. Let's do the I wonder how does actually the emoji looks in the placeholder. It's probably bad, right? No, it actually looks fine. Interesting. Oh, that's a bit too long for us, but that's perfectly fine. We can adjust this with classes. So, so I want to without, all right? No? Okay, how do I make it size? Okay, I guess that's too small. So V6 or no, 6 is too small as well. V8. Yeah, there we go. It's gonna be V8. Okay, right. So and we wanna have the max length 1, right? So this is what we wanna do. Right, yep, and I can still put in the emojis. No, I can't. What? Why? Oh, I guess. Oh, right, it probably counts emoji as 2, right? That is. Wait a second. HTML input max length emoji. So the problem is that technically emoji is not a 1 character, right? Blah, code unit length of element. Yeah, the problem is code length of emoji can be 2, 3, or even 4 in some cases, if I remember correctly. Oh boy, okay, how the hell do we do this? I mean, we obviously could do the validation in JavaScript, but that sounds like a pain in. Why do you have to be like this, emoji? Emoji and max length attribute, okay. Length of 2, length of 1, yes, by specification, blah blah blah. Max length, Okay, yeah, sure. Wonder, like, if all emojis are length 2 or some of them are longer. 2 or 3 seems fine. For emoji, 2, 3 characters. Emoji, okay, wait a second. So emoji JS length. I believe there are up to 7. So some emojis are 7, even though it's like 1 character rendered. So 2 or 3 won't really fly here. I guess we don't really have any much choice, aside from doing the no, I mean, yeah, so task initials is like what we do right now with the projects, right? But that's like let me think for a second. So we can probably just go for like Emoji Picker or something, right? Wait a second, React Emoji Picker or something. So that's like the obvious way. We just limit it real hard and say, hey, this is the only way you can pick stuff, which I guess it will work, but it still sounds quite limited. Emoji Mart. Maybe that's the way to go because, we don't really want to go like super flexible, I guess, which works fine for us. That looks quite nice, actually. So Slack like customizable, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's quite old, actually. The release, I mean, this is even older. Okay. Well, okay, so now, let me see. So last one, September 23, March 16, release 3.0. I mean, again, it's probably not exactly the component that you would update too frequently so long as it works. Categories, sizes. Oh, okay, so it even have like different size shit. 3 megabytes of emojis. Holy crap, that's a lot. Okay, Google. Oh, so you can even give it a separate data sets. Interesting. I wonder if can it default like to a basic emoji. You know what? Let's just go with that. So let's just say that by default we're just gonna start with giving a user to basically assign emoji to the project, right? And wait a second, which version am I running? Node 15. Okay, nvm use stable, right? npm install emoji mart. So I'm still not gonna use npm 7 because there's still issues and I basically don't want to fight them. We're just gonna go with node 14 emoji regex. No, but that means we have to implement our own validation, right? Which is like I don't want to do that. I just feel too like basically constraining the users to emojis allows us to just forego this completely and basically say, hey, here's a list of emoji you can pick from, and basically we're done, right? Okay, style E18N. Okay, we don't care about that. So we got the set title on select. Okay. Okay, I guess the emoji in this case should be so set should be our task icon, right? Or something. And then on select emoji. So this is something we will have to implement, right? Okay. I assume it will receive the emoji itself, but we're gonna find out in a second. Let me just do that, I guess. Title, right? Title is something else we need. Okay, title is gonna be task icon. We probably should implement the icons for the project as well, but we can do it later. It's fine. All right, question. Will it update? It's probably not going to recompile it, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, right, I stopped it. I don't think Next.js actually picks up the newly installed npm dependency, so we will probably have to would probably have to restart it anyway. Okay, come on now. Right, so theoretically we should now see an emoji picker there. Oh, it actually renders the whole thing. Oh, damn. Okay. I mean, where's my emojis actually? What is going on with these errors? Set of value. Oh, okay. So it doesn't like the fact that I gave it empty value. So I guess. Oh, set is. Oh, okay. Set is not the value. Set is literally set. So I guess I can just remove that. Right. So then it defaults to whatever works. Emoji is what we want to use, right? So emoji is task icon or okay, you know what, let's just leave it at that. Right, and then if I click on that, we should get this emoji ID. Okay, so we basically get ID from that, right? Const new emoji ID, there we go. And if we get this new emoji ID over here, we theoretically, once we click on stuff, we should see the, yep, so there's our ID. So, and let's say we default to hammer, for example, right? So we can be like, okay, so task icon or hammer. Right, there we go. Okay, and theoretically, if I click that, there we go. So it now, no, it actually does. All right, because it won't change it because we don't actually commit the changes to the task, right? That is, right, which means that we need a local task, right? Const task data, set task data, use state with default to task, and then here we're gonna use the task data because we need our state. Right, and then basically here we need to say set task data, and that's gonna be task data, and then icon is gonna be new emoji ID. So for now, we're not obviously committing that to the backend, but theoretically, if I press on stuff now, it should change, right? There we go. Okay, cool. Right, so we need to actually make this work as, I guess, a floating thing. So basically, we need to render the emoji here. Right, how the hell do I, does it provide a way to render the emoji from the name somehow? Because, oh yeah, there we go. There's an emoji component that does this, perfect. So we want this emoji ID size. Okay, yeah, cool. So this is what we want to do. Okay, and then we import this emoji from there. Emoji is task data icon or hammer. Don't care about the sets. There we go. We got this thing. Okay, so theoretically we should now have this emoji rendered. Why is it so damn tiny? Okay, and then we need this thing to be like show emoji picker, I guess, right? So we only show it if there is some variable that is toggled. Show emoji picker, said show emoji picker, right? Use state, we default to false. Okay, so there now should be hidden. Yeah, okay, this is super tiny. Let's make it 32, I guess. That's too big. 24. That's probably a nice, yeah, there we go. Okay, and now here on click, we are gonna do set show emoji picker as, and we just basically flip it. Right, now the problem is we need to make it float, which means we wrap it into div that is positioned absolutely, right? Absolute. And then we have to basically tweak it. It actually looks fine. Maybe we'll just leave it at this. Okay, so we need to remove the outline here. Class name. Wonder if it supports class name. Hey, Major Malfunction, welcome to the stream. All right, focus, outline, none. Let me scroll that stuff. Was it focus, outline, none or not? Does it actually support class names? Here's the question. Then emoji, type button. Okay, so it's actually a button. Interesting. And it seems like, so why does it not support class names? Fallback, HTML, class. Interesting. Wait a second. Can I not pass class name to it? Background, style sheet. There's class name. No, it doesn't have class name. Okay, wait a sec. Are you for real right now? Emoji size. I guess, I mean, first of all, why is it a button? And second of all, why doesn't it allow me to set the style for it? I mean, I guess, can I put this focus outline none over here? Theoretically, it should override it, right? So all the children should have it. Why not use ES7 React snippets? I am too lazy to remember snippets, and I keep forgetting that. So I just, you know, just do my stuff that I'm used to, basically. I know there's better ways of doing it, but I don't know. It's just the way that I'm basically used to. Okay, so this works as expected, actually. I guess we should... okay, so this doesn't work, which is fine. Was it out? I mean, we already did that on some button, but I don't remember where. If I items, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember if it was outline or something else. Focus outline, known focus shadow outline. Okay, so it was that. The only thing is that this thing doesn't actually support class name, which is a bit weird, but let's try it here maybe. No, that doesn't work. Okay, you know what? It's fine. For now, let's not focus on that. Maybe we'll create our own emoji component later on. So what do I need to do? I need to, first of all, I need to hide the thing once we update the emoji, right? We can just say false over here. Means that now if we click on that and be like, hey, I changed the emoji, it just collapses. It does take a second to preload the emojis from the style sheet. It also does, like, it uses the emoji that are not system. Also does not exactly, why are they so weirdly shaped? Okay. Okay, let's see. Is there a different, better emoji picker out there? Emoji picker React emoji picker, tiny clouds. So we got this thing. Is it better? Here's the question. I mean, it seems like it works more or less the same way. So it like preloads this emoji shit and just uses it. And transition. Yeah. You can remove the outline globally. It isn't useful anyways. Fair enough. We could probably do that. Yeah, that's true. Okay. You know what? That's fine. I won't really bother with it right now. We can tweak it later on. Okay. So this works as expected, right? So we can click it. Okay. It's not exactly the fastest emoji picker, but it does work. I wonder why it unloads all the emojis when it closes, but you know what, that's fine. And close that. Now we need the, so we will not touch the backend for now. I'll focus on just editing the state locally, basically, and then after that we can just commit it to the backend, and then I think that will be a nice wrap up for the stream, essentially. Okay, so then we got our name, which should be an input, right? Would type text placeholder. So this is going to be task name. A value is going to be our task name data. There we go. Okay. What is going on? Value. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. React. So okay. I guess first of all we need class name, font, bolds. Probably don't need it here anymore. There we go. Okay, cool. We do want an outline here to know when you basically focused, so that's a good thing. And add some minor padding to make it look a bit nicer. There we go. Yes, that looks good. Maybe add some padding here as well, just to make it a bit more aligned. Yeah, there we go. That looks a bit nicer. Okay, cool. So on change, well, okay, that's the easy part, right? So basically say handle name change, and really all we want to do with this is events. Okay, const new name events target value. So we get the name, and we basically say set new task data name new name, right? That's literally all we want to do. Task 1 of 3. Yep. Cool. That works perfectly fine. And actually here, yeah, right, because I'm rendering the JSON over here. Okay, that's perfectly fine. You know what? We can actually kill it from here because we no longer need to work on that view. I can just work here and I can just throw it in here and be like task data. You can actually see it, right? So this is flex column, right? So we should be, right. And then this should be as name flex, right? So there should be column. This should be a row because we're going to be adding more stuff over time, right? There we go. That actually works as expected. Target and current target the same. I believe in this case they will be, like that depends on the event and on the trigger. They might not always be the same, but in this case it will be the same. Okay, so we did the emoji, we did the thingy, so now we need to do the description. I think we should, here's the question, do I even need so much? I don't need that. Yes, let's throw in the description below, I guess, right? So we're gonna have this thing. Okay, and then here, I guess let's make it a text area instead of the input because the description could be longer than everything else, right? Okay, that is, have to style it. Right, so this should be flex and this should be flex 1. I think that should stretch it, right? There we go. Okay, that is super tiny. We do not want text this small. Okay, that's better. Okay, and then we want value is gonna be, I believe you use value here as well, right? Placeholder is gonna be task description. And then we want on change, which is gonna be handle description change. Okay. That is a wrong button. Okay, right, obviously this is not gonna compile because we are missing the function. So events, same thing here. So we just say there's gonna be new description. What? Oh, come on now. New description. Name, so description. All right, I think that should actually do it, right? New description. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got this thing going. Right. I guess that is fine. So now the interesting bit is our main text, right? So let me just refresh to make sure there are no warnings or errors. Yeah, that looks fine, right? New description. Okay, so here's the interesting bit, right? So we want to have the main text of the task. And what I envision is basically something like the Notion editor. React Notion editor. I believe I've seen a couple of components that were similar to what Notion did. We just have to find whatever I found last time. I believe it was something like React block editor or something. Smart blocks, editor.js. If anyone in chat knows anything that is basically like a block kind of editor similar to Notion, do let me know. So yeah, there was this Notion clone. I don't know what the author here used for the editor. React content. Okay, so he basically built it himself. I am not really interested in that. React tabbable editor built on draft.js, tabbable with a webpack, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That looks nice, but I would prefer something even simpler and something that would basically work in Markdown. What is this? This is blah, blah, blah. React Notion was born. Fastlot. Okay, this is a renderer for Notion. That's not what we want. Smart block. That actually looks pretty damn good. Okay. And you can serialize it into JSON, which is also perfect because then we can just store it in a database as JSON, right? Usage, smart block. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Okay. So you can either pass it HTML or I assume you can pass it JSON. Get started. Right, so this is one thing, and it supports extensions. So basically, if we want to add some other block, we can do that. That's pretty cool. So that's one option. Editor. Oh, yeah, right. This is the thing that I saw. That was like basically very Notion-like because you have this block which you can move up and down. You can delete whatever. And then once you insert stuff, you can basically click this plus and add text, image, whatever table, and then, or even raw HTML, I believe. Let me delete this. So if I remember correctly, yes, there you go. You can just be like code hello world, right? I think that's, how do you commit that? Or is it, anyway. I think that's just the code thingy basically. But anyway, yeah, that looks really good. Let's go with that one because this one, as nice as it seems, I think this one was way more feature rich, and it also serializes into JSON, which is perfect for us. This is not what we want. This is does not look as fancy as editor.js. Slate.js, but Slate.js is a lot simpler, right? It's just basically the like rich text editor. It doesn't actually have all those fancy features that Notion does in terms of working with blocks. So this is just, you know, rich text editing with plugins. I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually a very nice thing. I've used it in a couple of projects, but it's just a lot like quite different from what I would want to have. Right, let's go. You know what? Let's go with editor because it has like a ton of plugins over here, including like tables, lists, links, whatever, images, headers, documentation. So how do I get started? Okay, editor. Do they have like an editor.js React? They have a React version for it, so I don't have to like set it up myself. Editor.js on React. I mean, obviously we could set it up ourselves with hooks. I assume it's not that hard. Okay, yeah, you know what? Let's go with why is it save dev? It doesn't seem right to me. Okay, let's just go with that. npm install editor React editor.js. Okay. So we got this, and then okay, import editor.js, and then we render this thing. Then data is basically going to be task data. Well, I called it text, which is actually doesn't reflect what we're going to be storing there. So let me just rename it to body. And it is going to be string, but it's actually going to be... Okay, I wonder... Let me just do this. Okay, npm run dev. So I assume that should make it work. I'm not sure if that's gonna fly. If it is gonna fly, then it's great for us because I don't have to you know, care too much about that. Window is not okay, so we cannot use it server side, which means we have to do some sort of a fallback for server side and then do the dynamic rendering, I guess. Dynamic import. Let's go with dynamic import here, purely because it's just a straightforward way of doing it, right? So we can do that, right? All right, I want the dynamic thing as well. This is basically going to be imported dynamically. Dynamic component imports. Okay, let's call it dynamic editor.js, and then we dynamically import it from here, right? And then theoretically, that should only be executed on the client side. Window is not defined. Okay. Elements with ID editor.js is missing. Okay, so I guess it doesn't really play well with dynamic import, which is unfortunate. Oh, do I have to do it myself? Is that what we're getting into? Import editor.js from editor.js. Okay. Yeah, I guess we have to do it ourselves, right? I guess as much as I don't want to do that. Okay, so it doesn't like it seems like it's just like one won't play well with what do you call it? With Next.js, so probably would be easier to just do it ourselves. No, that's a wrong extension. No, I don't need marketplace help. There we go. Okay, no, that's not what I want to copy. I want to copy this, paste it here. We actually want to import, yes, we want editor, right? Editor and then data task body. Yep, so that looks fine. And then if I copy all of that, oh, that was the, there we go. So this actually, I think, yeah, it is in the view, so that should be fine, right? And yes, that's good. So this is our editor, which means that, so we don't need dynamic here because we can just assume this works. We won't need any of that. And then we can kill this. And then basically we're going to get the data property. Okay, use state, we probably don't need that either. All right. Okay, you know what? Let's just first try to do this. JSON stringify data. See that our editor is actually rendered. Yeah, I know that you are... Oh, I probably should restart that. So let's see. So basically, I guess I can... wait a second, I probably should... rm react editor.js. Since we're not going to be using it, we're going to be using the editor.js directly. Remove that, npm run dev. Okay. I guess we'll hook it up, and that's probably a nice wrap for a stream. I mean, it's going to take us 20-30 minutes to do that, but you know, just saying that's probably a good, would be a good spot to stop. Element type is invalid, expected a string, got a class function. What do you mean? But got undefined. What do you mean undefined? Function get initial props. Where is this coming from? What? Okay, let's see. This page loads fine. This page loads fine. This page is okay. So there is something bugging out, even though I didn't really create element, invalid type, expected a string or a class function, got undefined. Okay. Am I missing something with dynamic imports? So dynamic component, dynamic import, whatever, right? So that seems correct. Okay, so dynamic editor.js, this is our render, yes. Dynamic imports editor, yeah, that looks okay, right? Dynamic is from next dynamic, okay. So where is my component will be returned by components hello, works like regular React components. So it seems like it should work, right? I'm not missing anything here. Oh, right. Okay. I am missing export default function editor. There we go. That should fix it. It was a very silly mistake. Okay, cool. So that actually works. We got our render here, although I don't actually see it rendered. Let me see. So we do that. I do editor. Or, oh yeah, okay. So it's because our data, right, of course, because the data is empty actually. Fair enough. Okay, so now we need to actually load the editor here, right? So let us see. So we got this thing here. We import this, and then this has to be executed in use effect, right? Because we only want to run that whenever we are rendered. Okay. And we probably need to use the editor ref, simply because we might need to somehow reference it. Editor ref. Okay, and then here, if editor ref is already defined, current, then we just return, and then here editor ref equals, current equals new editor.js, older editor.js. Yeah, okay, so this has to have ID editor.js, right? Okay. I don't really, can you pass the DOM element directly or do you have to pass it ID? Folder, where is my tools using APIs? Configuration. Folder ID, okay. Yeah, so it seems like it only accepts ID, which is a bit unfortunate because I would prefer to pass it, what do you call it? The reference to the actual element, but that's fine. Okay, so in theory, that should actually initialize our editor, right? It actually does, okay. Okay, obviously there is nothing in there. I guess it's probably a good idea to add stuff like placeholders and everything. So tools header, blah, 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 data. Okay, so we pass it data. So this is where our thingy comes. I guess this should be equal to this. Yep, that looks fine. And then we want on ready. I don't know if we care about ready. We do care about the placeholder. And we do care about the change trigger, right? So we want this on change thing. Okay, editor changed. Yeah, how do I... Okay, you know what? That's fine. For now, we just leave it there. We do want to autofocus, I guess, because why not? This is going to be our primary editing place, right? And we want... so there's the read-only mode. We don't need that. Where was the... Wait a second. There was a placeholder, right? I'm not tripping. There we go. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we got this thing. Placeholder is gonna be task body. Let's just leave it at this for now. Okay, I'm sorry, what? Internal window is not defined. Okay, so it still tries to render it on the server for some reason. I thought the dynamic components did not render on the server. Am I mistaken here? Okay. Dynamic imports. You can import dynamically. There's also they also work with. Oh, okay. They now work with SSR. Interesting. So how do I say that I only want to do that? There we go. There's SSR. Okay, so you can pass it SSR false. That's kind of cool. So I remember the time when this was basically the only way to import something without SSR, right? Okay, so we got our task body over here. Why is there so much spacing? Okay, let me reload that. Okay, no more errors. There's the editor message. That is super nice. Okay, so by default, it doesn't actually have anything. Hello world. New stuff. There's a couple of issues here, but we can work around that. That's fine. Okay, so we can kill this thing. No, wait, you know what? Let's just leave it for now there. What we need to do is, first of all, we need to figure out how to get this stuff for like the data from editor, right? Saving the data, yes. Editor save, then output data. Okay, so this is what we want to call, which means that wherever we change, we need a new function that is going to be const handle update, right? Okay, editor ref current save const output. So we're just gonna await that. So we save that, and then we basically can just log it. Okay, handle update. So we throw the handle update over here, and that's actually should be good, I think, right? So theoretically, if we now refresh that, there's our editor. Hello world. And there's our data. Okay, cool. Right, so probably storing data as text is a bad idea now that I'm thinking about it. And that actually should be an object, right? Because we're literally storing an object. Okay, handle update, which means that on change over here, and we just say that, hey, here's your new updated article, do whatever the hell you want with it, right? Do I want to use callback here? Maybe we don't really care about that right now. It shouldn't be shouldn't impact the performance too much, right? Change handle body change. Let's call it this way. Okay, const handle body change. Okay, we got our new body. In this case, we don't even have to extract anything, so we just do that. Task data body new body. And then we obviously have to plug it in and store it to the backend, right? But for now, that's perfectly fine. New data. And that somehow reset. Oh, right, because we are gonna re-render. Well, why does it? Wait a second. Why does it reset new data? Oh, right. Okay, so it will trigger the re-render of this editor because the body is changed. Right, but we don't essentially need to re-render that. So how do we handle that? Oh boy, okay, so what we want to do is render this once, I guess. How the hell do I do this properly? So essentially the problem is now we need to provide it initial data, but then don't re-render it once the data changes, right? I guess first of all we can remove that because we don't actually need that here. We can also remove that because we don't need it here. Okay, reload this. Our editor, new data, so that will, there we go. I think that actually fixes it, right? Other stuff. Yep. Okay, cool. So if we're not trying to render the actual stuff, then it actually works perfectly fine. Okay, cool. 2 questions. Why the hell is it there's so much white space around it? Okay, editor.js, and then where do you get the styles from? And how do I, okay, you know what, there's probably there is probably a way to style that is described somewhere in the docs, right? Configuration, maybe here, past error, modification, change the default block, autofocus, placeholder, log level, initialization, read-only mode, inline toolbar. Okay, that doesn't have anything about styles. First plugin, changing a view. Is that what we want to do? No, that's not. That's a okay. That's all in creating a block core API. But you really don't have anything on how to style this stuff. Editor available option class. Okay, so again, pass it a class. You expect me to like manually change all? No, why you ought to be like this? Okay. Well, this looks fine, right? So that means that this is the problem number 1. Yeah, it has incredible padding at the bottom for whatever reason. Why does it need so much? I don't know. But we can essentially do this and just define this in our global CSS. Did we have one? I think we did, right? Styles. Yeah, there we go. So we can say that this thing, padding bottom, is gonna be auto. I wonder if that's gonna, I think yeah, okay, so basically the local style will take precedence, right? So we have to do the ugly important thing because there's no way around that. Inherit importance. Okay, that's one thing, and the other thing is, why is there so much spacing on the left and right side of this stuff? Where is this coming from? CE block content. Okay, margin 0 auto. What if I just do auto? Oh, okay. Auto basically will make it centered. Max. Oh, yeah, right. So we could probably just remove the max. Yeah, no, that seems like a bad idea. You know what? Let's just leave it for now. I think that's fine. Maybe add, instead of padding bottom inherit, let's make it like 2em or something, and then padding top as well. I believe we don't need to do it important there. Come on now, recompile. There we go. Yeah, that looks fine, right? So it's not the best look, but I think it's okay. We would also have to figure out. No, it actually seems like it scales okay-ish. Like, okay, obviously we don't have the scaling for the layout itself yet, as in the responsiveness, but that seems to be working decent. Okay. This still works. Yeah, okay, cool. So our data is updated correctly. Now what we need to do is we need to send this stuff to the server, right? So this is, you know what? Let's also change the logging level. I was in the config, I believe. Log. Where is the log? Log level. There we go. Log level error. Yes, please. I don't really care about all those notifications that you keep sending me because, well, I can do without them, right? Okay, cool. No more. Let me just refresh it real quick. Okay, new stuff. Other stuff. No more verbose logs here, which is perfect. Yeah, I think that's actually quite good. Okay, so let us save this to the server then. Now to do that, we actually would need to... So, okay, we don't need that anymore. To do that, we need to save it during the emoji change. We need to save it during the name change, description change, and body change, right? So this is 3 updates. Theoretically, it could probably be the same function that is called const save task or something, right? Async. And here we probably just take the reduxios and then just send a post request with the new data to a correct route, and that's basically it, right? Okay. Yep. So data, I guess we pass in the data. And then data, I guess we don't really care about the return data so long as it's okay, right? Right, now let's figure out the routes. So we got the pages, API, task. Right, okay, yeah, right. So we got this thing, which is, so this is the task from project. I guess, like the way that the Next.js doesn't make it super easy to make those nested routes. Especially, like, I think you have to handle the get and post requests yourself as well, right? You're saying save task. I actually think we need to... So, okay, wait a second. Let's do it this way. Const new task. Okay, new task, and then set save and then hide. Right, okay. So this seems like a nice way of doing it. Okay, same here. So const new task, this new task, and then save task, new task. Same goes here. Okay. Okay, and the same goes here. Save task, new task. There we go. Okay. We did that. Yeah, right. So this should be actually task. I guess it should be like task ID, right? So the problem is, okay. So log update. Let me see. So if we do that, theoretically, we should have that ID here, right? If I remember correctly, let me just double check. Okay. Yes, we have the ID. Okay, cool. So theoretically, this data ID. The problem is we already use this project ID here, which is... how do I do that? Technically, like this is I already said it during the last stream, but this is not like the proper REST design, right? But there's like, it's a pain in the ass to nest this all in here. Let me think. Project. So I guess we could just throw it in. Wait a second. You know what? We don't actually use that. Now that I'm thinking, we don't actually use that route at all, right? Because we're only using this get project tasks thing. So what I could do is I could just throw this into the source and then just use the API for stuff that we actually use, which would probably be a lot better. We also don't use this all thing, right? So, okay, let's see. Let me create a new folder. Maybe I don't need a new folder here. Okay, let me think for a second. So we don't need the new one because we literally post to this. If we open Axios, if we search for Axios here, we don't need this. We create a new project, we create a new task, and we register. So it's like literally 3 routes that we are using, which means that everything else can be actually removed from here, right? So let's call it utils, and obviously there's like, we will have to refactor that structure at some point because the utils name doesn't actually make sense. Okay, and then we got this import project from DB, right? Yep, okay, cool. So we got this thing, we can kill this all thing. Now we got this project ID, we could do the same thing here. We can actually get the task from here as well. We can kill all of that. And we don't need this thing, right? Okay, and we can kill, yeah, right, so we can actually change that to task ID because then we could just basically update it correctly. Okay, and we still need the task here. We need this. Okay. Task find one by ID and update is what we want. Okay. Request body. No, that was actually correct. Task ID here, and then request body. Yep, so that's basically all we want to have. Obviously, that doesn't actually validate anything, but I think that should work. Okay, and we also want a, so we need to double check for post request here, which I guess, yeah, you know what? It's fine. We don't actually have to do that, since we know we're not going to be sending any other requests. We do have to fix our references to those functions, right? So this is, yes, so this should not be going from here. This should actually be going from source utils. There we go. Okay, that's 1. That is 2. Okay, I think we, no, is it 2? Yep, there we go. Source get user projects and get project tasks. So they are imported from the same thing. And the same goes here. No, that is one more source. Yeah, that's, we need to figure out how to do the absolute references. Otherwise, we're going to get, like in some of those pages, it's already very hard to read what the hell's going on here. Okay. Template string converter. What is that? Let me have a look. What is template string converter? Template string converter. Extension address request to convert tab backticks with. I don't really need that. Like, I think Prettier pretty much does this as well, right? Oh, okay, so it automatically converts it to the, oh, that's actually quite convenient. Okay, you know what, I'll consider that. Thank you for referencing it, but I'm not sure I want that. Again, I tend to be very slow in regards to, you know, typing and stuff like this, purely because I didn't use as many extensions. But yeah, okay, anyway, so we fixed that. Let's see, is this now imported from the right place? Yep, that seems correct. Okay, so we got this, we got that. Right, so which means now we can just, oh, okay, right, of course. It killed my Axios import because I commented out the usage of it. Okay, so now theoretically we can just post it to the API task ID, right? Yes, yes. And then we just post the data, which should contain all the, yeah, right, okay, so we should actually sanitize the data a bit in our API because the body const new data is gonna be, okay, so let me think. So we got the body, which means that it will contain a bunch of stuff that we don't actually care about, like such as ID. I guess we can just do this, new data, because we don't really care about ID, but we do care about the rest of it, right? Body, name, project, user. I get, yeah. Do we care about the project user? I guess we don't, right? So those cannot really be changed, which means that we can omit them as well. So omit those. Their task user. Okay, omit those. Right, so name, body, and everything else we're basically committing. Okay, let's see if that actually works. Okay, new body. And we got 400 with error. What is the error? No such file, task project all. Where is it getting it from? Project all. Why are, oh, I guess I have to restart the thing to recompile the backend. That's probably right. If you move project ID file inside project ID folder and rename it to index, will this work? Because it's easier to reason about. I mean, the thing is that we're not using the... Oh, you mean this one? That's a good question. I don't think it will, because this square bracket syntax is what basically gives you the access to the... what do you call it? The params, right? So this is the params definition, and that one actually... I don't think it will work. Okay, first questions first. Oh, okay. So we found a bug. This thing is actually, I guess this model, why is it not above everything? This is so weird. So React model portal, do I need to give it the index like 1000 or something? No, that's still, what the hell? How big do you want this? What? Why is it still? Okay, interesting. Why is it still underneath it? How the hell? Index file acts just like the brackets file. Oh, okay. Is it? Let me see. Routing. Shallow routing. Dynamic routes. So post PID. Blah, blah, blah. Comment.js. Catch all routes. Optional catch all routes. Caveats. And they don't actually mention index here at all, so I guess it won't really work, or unless it's not documented here. Have a look at the examples. Pages, post ID. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, you are right. It's just not in the documentation for whatever reason. Okay, anyway, we can refactor it later. Okay, this is definitely a bug, but god damn it, why do you have to be like this? Why the hell is it not, even with the Z index, it doesn't seem to be above all that stuff? Yes, because it's not at the very end, is that why? If I move it over here. Oh, does it always move itself on the very top? Are you for real right now? Oh no, this is data React model. Okay, so this is a React model actually. Why does it... What the hell's going on? Why is the editor above that? That is so weird. Okay, anyway, let me just I guess switch to the different thing. We just test a new okay. Yet another project. Just to test that the creation actually works. Yep, that works. Okay, task. Another task. Ads. That works. Okay, cool. Right, so we need to figure out why the editor pops over the creation. But that's a different question. Okay, new thing. 400. What is the error now? I have no idea, to be honest. We have to debug this. Okay, console log. Saving. Okay, new data. Request params task ID. Okay, let me save that. Another. Right, so there's an empty error, but doesn't seem to get to that point for whatever reason. Okay. Console log error. So let's see what the error is. I assume that should log it. One more. Okay, cannot read task ID of undefined. I'm sorry, what? Request params is undefined? Why is it undefined? Okay then. Right, console log request. So why are you undefined? Okay, request. So we got the body. Preview. Why is params undefined? Wait, does it? Task. Yeah, so there's our ID. That seems correct, and it correctly catches it. So where's my params? What is going on here? Client. It doesn't seem like it even has the params property now for whatever reason. Body. Yeah, so that looks correct. Why is there no params? We got the query here. It is inside query, but there theoretically should be params as well, unless. Wait a second. Next.js. So params. Params, data fetching, get static props, dynamic routes. Whoops, that is not what I want. Params. Slug. Where? No, what? Come on now, what is going on? Dynamic routes. In this repo, yes. Type params, any string, blah, blah, blah. Is it that because it's a post request, it doesn't support params? Is that the problem? Params, post index, path. You know what? That's fine. We can just use a query. That's perfectly okay. It might be because it's a post request, although that sounds weird as hell. But yeah, let's see if that works. One more, and it actually worked. Cool. So we got. Why is it return? Oh yeah, right. Because task find by update. New true, so please return the new task for me, just in case. I don't know if we need that, but okay, so theoretically if I refresh that now, we should actually have the old. Yep, that works. Okay, new description. Oh god, okay. We should probably throttle the changes. Right, yeah, that's a good idea. Saving immediately on key press is probably a really bad idea. Okay, let's see. Const throttled save. Set timeout. Okay, so we need the reference to the timeout. Const save timeouts. Use ref. Let's use a ref for it. Do we need a ref for it? We don't really need a. No, we do need a ref for it. Okay, current set timeouts, and we just say basically save task data, and then let's save 500 milliseconds or something, and if there is current timeout, then we clear timeouts. Right, okay, so we clear it, and then we set it for 500 milliseconds, and then we need to throttle save on our key changes, key presses, right? Because otherwise the server is going to be dead very quick. Okay. Yep. Okay, cool. So new task 1 to 3 works. New task description. Yep, that looks actually quite good. Cool. So if I refresh that now, we should have all the changes retained. Yeah, that actually looks like it's working. And right, so we have the problem with the editor.js overlaying on top of everything else and preventing us from using models, basically. For some reason, I don't know why, but we can figure it out later on. So let me basically create a ticket for that. So no, I guess ticket doesn't make sense. This spot we should just say that. Let me think. So this dynamic editor somewhere here, I guess. Term to do, figure out why editor.js overlays every model absolute div in existence and prevents from using them. So that's probably going to be a topic for a second, like the next stream we're doing. But we are like 95% there. I guess the other 5% is going to take like 5 more streams or so, because, you know, that's going to be the longest thing ever. Okay. Git commits adds basic editing of the task icon, title, description, and body. Okay. Sign that. That looks good. Let me have a look at the chat. Set ref to null after the set timeout is called. That is very right. You are completely correct. Let me have a look. Yes, editor. So no, we are doing it in view actually, right? So we need to reset that. But it doesn't timeout reference resets on its own if you don't set it? Like, wait a second. I am curious. Wait. You are, because I don't think I ever did that, and I think let's just go var current set timeout console log done, and then console log current. So theoretically there's 44, and then if we do current again, okay, it's still 44. But if I do clear timeout 44, the thing is that if clear timeout works, then we don't care if it's already done or not, right? So I think it's perfectly fine. We don't need to manually reset it, basically. Your beard got longer. Yes, it did indeed. I'm like, I don't know. I'm already at the point where I'm wondering if I should just shave it off, or, you know, try to figure out how to properly trim it or something. Last time I watched you was half a year ago. Oh yeah, that's like, since then, that's absolutely got a lot longer. So avoid unnecessary clear timeout call. On one hand, yes. On the other hand, this is really cheap, right? Like, the clear timeout is not exactly expensive, and since we're running it pretty sparsely, I don't think that's a major problem. But I'm just gonna leave it there for now. We're gonna figure it out later and see, you know, if it becomes a problem. Yeah, we're gonna basically change that. Right, did I? Yes, I did push everything to the GitHub, so as usual, you can find all the source code there. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, now is a good time to throw them into the chat. If no, we can just wrap it up here for today and then continue next week. I'm thinking that, yeah, again, we're gonna figure out first why the editor overlays everything, and then probably start making nicer design, nicer view and stuff like this. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to do now. What do you sign when you do? I sign commits. Basically, if you go to the GitHub, you can see that my commit messages are verified. That means that it was indeed me who committed that. Like, if you use Git, you know that it's basically easier to just use any email and username to pretend to be that person, right? When you sign, you basically verify that it is you and nobody else could sign because it is your private key. So this is like sort of best practices, I guess. I mean, it's not required, but it's just the thing that I did, and yeah. Prompt for it looks different than your user. I mean, prompt for it is just the private key that I have. I'm using the It's a GPG prompt. It's like your typical GPG signature. I think it uses my email actually to sign it. So the user it's actually the email, not the username. But anyway. Okay. Any more questions, suggestions, or should we just wrap it up here and go have something? Go do something else. I guess I should prepare for my next work call. Okay, I'll give you a couple more seconds and let me think for a second. Yeah, so again, if you have any more questions or suggestions and you're watching a video VOD of this or you didn't get a chance to ask, you can always join our Discord chat and talk about that stuff there. Right, seems like there's no more questions or suggestions, so thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this stream. We're going to continue next week. I see you on Saturday for BxJS Weekly. And yeah. My suggestion is not to shave the beard. Okay, suggestion accepted. Thank you for the feedback. All right, guys, have an awesome rest of the day and rest of the week. And I see you on Saturday for BxJS Weekly.